B.
Yes, yes.
Oh, it's Monday, and we're feeling good. Hi, Jonah Goldberg.
Breaking news. Hallelujah.
Wait, that's not what I was singing, but okay. Did it
that was better, actually, than, you know.
I was just kind of riffing, but I liked yours.
Yeah.
And, you know,
This doesn't feel like a safe space to me. But anyway.
It's not safe for you.
Not a college dorm. What do you think this is?
We
I'm
learned,
sorry.
Harris, that you have a beautiful singing voice, and you were singing the
we
national
didn't.
anthem with
Yes.
a group of school
Thank
children.
you, Kennedy. You know what? Friday, I was not on the TV version of Outnumbered. I had such an amazing experience and an epiphany. And, you know, we've been talking all about this Colin Kaepernick, and then you saw the Kansas City Chiefs and the Seattle Seahawks over the weekend. And all this discussion about the national anthem. There were kindergartners to 8th graders who were singing at a school in Queens, where I traveled to Friday morning, and at 1 p.m. Eastern, I led via this huge feed on YouTube 1 million kids in unison in song,
cool. Wow.
singing the national anthem as their assembly kicked off. So we were like the top of all these schools' assemblies. And they were going to discuss 9/11 and to start with that point of unity. And music brings us together.
Yeah.
Right? We know that from MTV.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize you without the hair, but I was with you in heart, my friend.
You should have seen me this morning. It was
goodness.
crazy.
But the MTV hair, you know. But seriously, though, it really is a connecting point. And we've gotten into this whole toxic area of just finding out what divides us. And it felt like such a warm, safe place.
That's great.
And
To
kids
be with
want that.
people
Kids want that. They want to be
who were-
together. They want to be
yes,
safe.
much shorter than me, and who shared a vision of under one God.
Can I bring that actually?
Indivisible.
You raised such a
with
good point.
justice and
So
liberty for all.
I, on September 11th, every year decide to forego sort of social media nonsense. And then I was looking at Twitter yesterday. Everybody's going crazy, you know, deplorables, Hillary's health, and the Democrats are going crazy and the Republicans and vice versa. And I tweeted out, I said, just for one day, can we actually talk about what unites us and not divides us? Just on this one day in September 11th.
Yeah, you got great response.
And I got crazy responses where people are like, you just don't want to talk about Hillary dying and her seizures and she's going to be dead by the time you want to get back to social media tomorrow.
It's social
and I'm
media,
thinking,
too.
what is the matter with people? Just one day. Can we just stow it for
Well, there
one
was
day?
no social media among the little children, particularly the kindergartners, who I loved hearing sing some of the lines of the national anthem. I mean, perilous is difficult for us to say, the perilous way, but when you're a kindergarten, that
They're
comes out all sorts of ways. And I'm like, yeah, perilous foot. Like,
Asparagus.
You go, asparagus foot. Exactly. So
And they sing with all their hearts.
No, that was really,
They do.
really beautiful. What an incredible
you.
thing that you did.
That was going to be my
blessed
point
to be
about
part.
the demonstrations at the top of the football game was just, and we didn't get to it in the show, was just this idea that, you know, there were 3,100 kids under the age of 18 who lost a mom or dad on 9/11.
Yeah.
And, you know, more than that, it was like 10,000 people that lost parents, but these are just children, and some of them never meet their mom or dad. And to me, it's such a sad day.
Yeah.
And
You
so
know-
to take away from that recognition is hard.
Yeah.
Also,
So true.
I remember when Rush Limbaugh had that brief ESPN gig and he said something politically controversial.
No.
I
This
don't
was
even
like
remember
15
that.
He was an analyst for Monday Night Football.
I
This
didn't
was
know
like
this.
15 years ago. And everyone freaked out and said, you know, and my position was, oh my gosh, you've hired Rush Limbaugh and you're shocked that he's going to be Rush Limbaugh, right? But it's like Aesop's fables, right? And but the thing is, the criticism they got from a lot of liberals, which I thought was exactly right, is some things are supposed to be safe spaces from politics, right?
Yeah.
And we live 15 years later, we are such a polarized country where every institution is just getting saturated in politics. These guys doing this stuff, it is just, first of all, it is bravery on the cheap, right? I mean, there's nothing, there's no courage to be doing this. But second of all, it strikes me as so self-indulgent because they're not giving some specific criteria like if X happens, we're going to stop doing this.
Exactly right.
This is just sort of like moral preening in a place where one of the few places left in American life where people of different political views can just say, let's put the rest of the world on hold and watch a damn football.
But how about the NFL? How about the NFL threatening to fine players who wore cleats commemorating 9/11 in red, white, and blue? 2 of them on the New York Giants. And thank God the Giants pushed back and said, "Go ahead and bring it. We'll pay the fine." And so did a couple of police unions in New York and New Jersey.
Yeah.
They said the exact same thing. Like if that's where you're gonna make a stand
Right.
on players' cleats,
Right.
but you're bending over backwards. And I don't have a problem with people expressing themselves, but I think it's a little bit ludicrous that people are raising their fists when they're really, it's filled with cash.
Yeah.
And these are
bravery on the
entitled-
cheap is the best. I mean, that's the best phrase.
I wrote it down.
Because you lose nothing by saying they're not risking anything by standing up there and doing this. They're not risking.
No, Brandon
endorsements.
Marshall actually got one of his sponsors
taken away.
Yeah.
But I think you hit the nail on the head just in terms of all of this. They're not solution searching. They don't care about whether or not they find the answer. They just want to shout louder than the other guy, kneel, do whatever it takes to get the most attention from the other guy so that they can prove they're right. It's not about finding out what's right. And that's what's wrong.
Yeah.
But here's the issue. If you don't like what they're doing, if any particular player or team...
They can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever they want. If you don't like it, you should boycott the games, or you should somehow monetarily punish them by... I'm sure they all have a billion endorsements.
All the front office of the teams,
I know
whatever.
nothing about football. I don't know who these people are, but I assume they all have endorsements of some sort. Don't buy their stuff that they're promoting. Don't go to their games if you don't want to. But they have the right to do it.
Yeah,
Nobody's
arguing that there's
but there is some talk of the NFL somehow mandating that you stand.
Okay, but the NFL is an organization.
Exactly
okay?
right.
So you don't have to belong to the organization. You can go down.
They don't have a right to be members of the
back
NFL.
Up. My backup plan was
agree.
to sell shoes at Nordstrom.
No.
Like they can go in at their backup
really?
plan. Yeah,
I would love it. I
absolutely.
could get a discount. I could
Also
get an employee
located in
discount
Seattle.
from you.
But
Okay.
anyway, right? Aren't
That's
they?
where Nordstrom's
That's where
from,
they're based,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but the thing that really got me was this guy Douglas Baldwin Jr. on the Seattle Seahawks, who said that this is how we're going to drive everybody to our message. And he said, we're showing unity. We're honoring 9/11 victims, military, men and women who've served. You hear us now. Now you've got to listen to our message. So let me get this straight. You get to basically deface the idea and the love that many people have via the flag and the national anthem for this country, and you think that bad behavior should then force them to pay attention to your message. Hashtag sense matters is what I put out. Can we find some sense? Because I don't get it in that.
Well, also, look, I mean, the idea that somehow, first of all, there are legitimate issues in terms of police violence, all that kind of, we can stipulate all that. The idea that that message isn't getting out is bizarre. I mean, the idea that this isn't we're not having a national conversation about this, that the media is not. Well, fine, but we're not going to find answers because four guys take a knee at a football game.
But here's my problem with the NFL. Remember when the Dallas Cowboys, and again, forgive me, I know nothing about football, but they wanted to wear decals on their helmets or something, a pin
pins for the officers.
For the officers, and the NFL said no. But yet the NFL is allowing this. My point is, if you're going to allow freedom of speech, and I'm all for it, I'm completely all for it, allow them to express themselves. And by the way, this goes for things that I find reprehensible, not standing up for the national anthem. But
that's what protecting free speech is all about.
Right.
Even if it's something you disagree with.
But that includes wearing Blue Lives Matters decals or however they wanted to express their support for the police.
Did you watch football with your family yesterday?
I did. We watched football. It's funny. So if you're not political, that moment went by really fast. I mean, we watched like the 9/11. You saw the flags.
Kneeling.
The kneeling is just not in real time. It's not big.
Wouldn't it be great if they didn't show the kneeling at all, though?
Wouldn't
that be fantastic if directors only took shots of the flag and the crowd and the players who are choked out? I mean, I was thinking about it
because it looks like they're looking for it.
But what is the ultimate end? Is the ultimate end here for these people that they stop playing the national anthem or that we get a new national anthem? And what happens, we just had, as a country, a phenomenal Olympic Games. Yeah. And so many Americans breaking barriers and making the country so proud and unified, and we really needed that. What would happen if an Olympic athlete, like if a swimmer on the podium, sat down or took a knee during the national anthem when they've just won a gold medal?
I mean, for average Americans, they don't see that much of this. I mean, back to the football point, in our house, we noticed that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers miraculously won and have had horrible season after horrible season, and we were filled with hope for a new season. We did not notice at all who kneeled and who stood and who locked arms. And we watched the Seahawks game too. I mean, we have NFL Sunday tickets.
Can you believe they
we're big.
But Kennedy's right though. They were looking for it.
Also, the fear is that this is the beginning of something, not the end of something, right? I mean, we saw mainline churches have gotten completely political. We've seen all sorts of institutions in American life, public schools, private schools, universities. They're all becoming politicized, sort of red versus blue nonsense. Part of the reason why I'm a philosophical conservative is I think politics is only supposed to be a partial philosophy of life, right? And it's not supposed to describe every institution. It doesn't penetrate into my family. Let's have more areas of public life that aren't poisoned by political polarization.
Yes, and can I give you a great example of that? Are they playing us out?
Yeah, but really
We're
quickly.
playing in Cleveland.
I had a great example, but
Stay tuned.
stay tuned for it
Yeah.
next time.
And stay tuned tomorrow. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate it. See you then.
Thank you.
Bye.